What's up everybody, this is Brian with BPS Customs. The AMD RX 480 launched yesterday, and I'm late to the party with my review. Let's fix that. For the longest time now, AMD has been playing second fiddle to NVIDIA in the graphics card department. Over the past few years, AMD's efforts to topple the green giant started off in 2013 with the release of the Hawaii core. The 200 series graphics cards that followed were respectable, but still lagged behind the NVIDIA 700 series in sales and performance. Then, in response to NVIDIA's release of the 900 series graphics cards in 2014, AMD brought to the table the same Hawaii core with a little more memory. The R9 380, 390, and 390X were lined up directly to compete with NVIDIA's 960, 970, and 980. Sales, however, were pretty poor, and they continue to be that way to this day. Right now, AMD holds about 25% of the GPU market, which in a lot of industries would be fabulous. The problem is, NVIDIA is the only other player in this game, meaning that they have a whopping 75% of the graphics card market. With the recent release of the beastly 10 series graphics cards, NVIDIA is really looking to push their advantage. But then, at Computex 2016, something completely unexpected happened. AMD formally announced the long-rumored new graphics card based on the 14nm FinFET process and Polaris architecture, the RX 480. Was it a 10 teraflop monster with 12 gigs of HBM? Was it a water-cooled overclocking champion? Nope. It was this little guy. AMD has decided that in order to build their brand and increase their market share, they were going to try to undercut NVIDIA in every possible way. Price? Check. This card costs $200 for the 4GB model and $240 for the 8GB model. Size? Check. The PCB on this card is miniature compared to its 10 series contemporaries. Performance? Well, let's put that on hold for just a minute. The RX 480 that I reviewed was from XFX. It sports the same reference cooler design present on all other 480s available at launch, which takes design cues from the Fury series of graphics cards released last year. The cooler sports a blower-style fan, which intakes air through a port on the back, as there are no other open areas on the cooler. The air is channeled across the VRMs and heatsink and out the back of the chassis. This is a tried and true method of cooling a GPU, although as we've recently seen with the NVIDIA 10 series, it's not always the most effective. Board partner cards should start to hit the street in July, and given the very short PCB, we could see some very interesting cooler designs. Small form factor cards will likely be available, which will add to this card's marketability to the Micro ATX and Mini ITX crowd. Our review card came equipped with a slick black backplate, unlike many of the other models released yesterday, although the price of this product is unchanged. This 8GB XFX version of the card still retails for $240. Released with this card is a new version of the AMD Crimson software with a feature they call Wattman. What? Wattman? Okay. It's AMD's new overclocking utility, and you could use it with this card to do not so much. My card yielded a max core overclock of 4%, and if I even looked at the memory settings, the entire system would crash. Maybe I got a mediocre performer, but other reviewers have confirmed that if you get your kicks from juicing up a card and pushing it to its absolute limits, this is not the droid you're looking for. Fortunately, this doesn't mean that the card is lacking in overall performance, as we'll see in a minute. The 150 watt total TDP is drawn from the PCIe slot and from a single 6-pin power connector. The card gets ungodly hot, but hey, don't we all sometimes? It features 36 compute units and 2304 stream processors. The card's max compute performance is 5.8 teraflops. Be aware if you purchase this card and have an older monitor, that the DVI connector that's been present on basically every graphics card since the year 2000 has gone missing. This isn't really the end of the world, as good 1080p monitors seem to be dropping in price by the day, and if worse comes to worse, you could always pick yourself up an adapter. Alright, enough rambling. You guys have made it this far in the video. I think it's time to look at some bar graphs! My test bench for these tests consists of an overclocked 5820K, 16 gigs of Crucial Ballistics DDR4, an Asus X99 Sabertooth motherboard, and an ADATA 240GB SSD. I chose to benchmark this card against cards ranging from the 750 Ti all the way up to the GTX 1070. Enjoy! Unfortunately, AMD's claims that this card will compete with, and in some cases even beat, a GTX 980 don't really seem to be accurate. However, GTX 970 performance for far cheaper, with double the VRAM and better VR capability is nothing to scoff at. This card passes the Steam VR readiness test with flying colors, something that I can't really say about my GTX 970, which was kind of borderline. So what's the fallout from this release? Well, suddenly in the last 2 days, there's some mysterious leak out of China showing us the new GTX 1060. There's also rumors flying around about the 1050 Ti. Where did these come from? Is it a coincidence? I don't think so. Nvidia realized that by focusing on the enthusiast market, they completely ignored the biggest subset of gamers. People who can't afford to spend $400 to $700 on a single graphics card. In fact, a lot of people's entire systems cost that much money. By leaving a gaping hole in their product stack, Nvidia has created the opportunity for AMD to slip in with this little gem of a card and capture an entire segment of the market that has largely been ignored. Availability issues that plagued Nvidia recently are largely absent with this release. Although retailers are selling out of these cards, availability at launch was much higher than with the GTX 10 series, and I've heard far less grumbling about people being unable to find one if they want one. In fact, as of the shooting of this video, you could go online on a couple of different sites and buy one right now. I can't even say that about the GTX 1070 and 1080, and they've been out for almost a month. It looks like AMD has come through with a clear winner with the RX 480. High temperatures aside, this card has everything you could want from a $200 product. It runs the latest AAA titles at high frame rates at 1080p and even some at 1440p. It takes up less room in your case than the latest Nvidia releases. It's generally available for purchase. It consumes a reasonable amount of power. And you know what? It's kind of fun for a change not to be a slave to Nvidia. Not that Nvidia makes bad products. I endorse them all the time. But it's been so long since we could talk about an AMD product that's this good for this price. It's refreshing. The latest Crimson drivers work without any real hiccups. The Wattman overclocking utility seems to function correctly even though it could use a little refinement. Even DX12 titles seem to run pretty smoothly thanks to the increased async compute performance of this card. For years, I've recommended to clients, family, and friends that they only purchase Nvidia products. With the release of the RX 480, AMD has made a believer out of me, and I'll certainly be recommending this card in the coming future. Just a reminder guys, I am an Amazon affiliate now, so all the links you see in the video description, even links to these guys, are through my Amazon affiliate account, and any purchases made do give a little kickback to the channel. If you guys want to support us, take a look through the Amazon store through my Amazon affiliate link below. So I hope everybody enjoyed my take on the new AMD RX 480. Hit that like button down there if so, and get subscribed if you're not already. I know who you are watching my videos and not being subscribed. Yeah. As always guys, thanks for watching and stay tuned.